Here we go.
Maybe
Hey,
she'll listen.
everybody. It's Thankful Thursday, and we're grateful to be here on our Thankful Thursday. And I'm turning the mic over to the group. I'm grateful to have you all here. And yes, that's what I was saying, and what have been very very clearly shown that this is not this is not our world. It's not our um, there's no reason for us to even think about it. The only thing we're here to think about is salvation of the world, and that has nothing to do with politics or other religions or anything. It has only to do with our own willingness to see the truth and to know the truth. So anyway, I'm going to turn it on over to you guys, and that is just my guidance to get out of the world, Lynn. Not what you're here for. Anyway, here you go. The mic is all yours.
Bravo, Lynn. Okay. I'll start as I always do. Are we on lesson 312? I see all things as I would have them be. I think we are. Um, Lynn, that is the
Yes.
exact same conclusion I came to. That what does this course teach but to let go of the world that we see, that the world we see is simply a projection of our mind. There is no world, lesson 132. There is no world. This is the central thought this course attempts to teach. And it also teaches there is no body. So as I've been getting more and more into letting go of the belief in the body and seeing everything as just energy, information, waves, particles, but even that's not real. But loosening the idea that anything in form is solid or can hurt us, that extends to the world as well. So that's the whole point of this election, like you said, Lynn, and what it sounds like you're getting to share as well, that, you know what? I want to extend love. I want to extend peace, the love, peace, and joy that I am as my true self. That is my mission here. The Course says our only responsibility is to accept atonement for ourselves, and our function is forgiveness. So, the function of forgiveness, I forgive the illusions that I see, that I am projecting, that these bodies' eyes are projecting a world of hatred and division and separation. And what was interesting throughout the election cycle was hearing both sides saying the same thing about the other. It was like what you said, Cher, about it's a bird, the left wing, the right wing, right? It's the same bird.
Same
It's
bird.
the same bird. And each party was saying they're going to cause nuclear war. They're going to cause the end of democracy. Both parties were saying the exact same thing. And the way I could see it, and I don't know if this is because I'm a Libra and I kind of see both sides all the time. I'm always in the middle. It I can see what both sides are saying, and I can see that they're both saying rational things. Now, the thing about Donald Trump is he kept us out of any new wars back
Exactly.
when he was in office. And I'll say that to my friends that are afraid of him. I'm like, he kept us out of any new foreign wars. He did, that's a pretty damn good thing. And he also stands up to China because our biggest threat is China. So I'm trying to say these things to calm my friends down. So anyway, Mickey, I see your hand up. You go ahead.
Um, I think we really ought to bring it back to the basics of the course during this time. There are only two states that we can be in, love or fear. And whichever one we're feeding is the one. I'm starting to think a lot about collective energy and how a lot of my friends yesterday were in just an extreme state of fear to the point where they were sobbing. And all I could say was, do not feed the fear. You're just, don't go into fear. That is just feeding the ego mind. it's the ego mind feeds off of fear. Why would and Holy Spirit feeds love or feeds off of love. Why would you not want to promote love? I'm not saying you have to love the people who you think are being hateful towards you, but at least don't feed the fear.
Love you. Thank you, John. Okay, bye.
Okay, back to whoever wants to sing.
But Mickey, all I can say is how ironic, though. Do you understand this whole situation? I hate to say my side, but I guess since we are on different sides, we feel the same way exactly with your side. Same feelings, traumatized, all the immigrant, the whole list, we feel the same total way. And how ironic that we're in a course that you said, bring it back to love or fear. But how the divide is exactly how you feel, we feel about your side. And how that's so crazy. It is so crazy.
That's true. And go ahead, Dove.
Yeah, go ahead, Mickey, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like the tirade I was on before about the media, the reason why we are all in fear is because the media is telling us, oh my God, the immigrants are going to overrun the country and take over, and we're going to lose our democracy to the socialists. We're going, those are the fear statements that
Both sides.
one side is getting, and the other side is getting. It's going to be an oligarchy. You're going to lose your democracy. If we just stop watching the news, I think we'd all be a lot better off. Anyway, over to you, Deb.
And exactly, why would we care?
Okay.
Why would we care who the government is? Why would we care who's in charge? Why would we care if the world's at war? Why would we care if we lose our democracy? What does our democracy mean? It means really nothing. It's a story about our lives. So if Vladimir Putin takes over America, who cares? Russians live in Russia. They're not committing suicide by the millions because of their leader. Let us just stop thinking about these things and realize that they have nothing to do with us. Who cares? Not us. Anyway, Dove, go ahead.
Okay, I'm just going to give you a little sharing about my day yesterday. I went, believe it or not, on election night, which I was talking to Sharon, and she said that she usually stays up pretty late to get the final results. Believe it or not, I went to sleep around 10:30 because I was tired on election night, and I left the television on. I forgot to turn it off, and I woke up like around 3-4 in the morning, and the television's still going, and I see the results, and it says Donald Trump is moving in on the winning of the presidency of the United States. I think at that point he had like 100. You need 270. He had 268, something like that. He had 268. I said, I don't believe this. And she only had like 150 or something. I don't believe this. I went back to sleep, and I got to admit, I accepted it right from the outgo. I said, okay. I mean, it wasn't even close. If it was close, then it wasn't even close. It was like I was in a dream. I was in a dream. I mean, how could this even happen? I mean, it wasn't even close. I mean, everyone thought it was going to be very, very, very close.
I did too.
So I finally accepted. I say I finally accepted. I accepted it by 6-7 o'clock. The word acceptance to me is okay. Exactly as Lynn says. What does that got to do with me? I accept it. Whatever it is, it is. I had no fears. I noticed one thing about me yesterday, though. I was very tired. Now, I don't know. I was tired because the TV was on all night and I didn't get a good night's sleep. They could be, but obviously it was something was weighing on me. and I didn't know exactly what it was. I went to bed early again last night because I'm now not tired anymore. And the idea of sides. I am a Course in Miracles teacher student, and I do not ever see sides. Just like in the movie Avatar, the first movie, the Earthling who becomes an avatar says to the woman who is his host, his love, he says, "Can't you ask your God to favor our side?" And 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 she says, "Our God doesn't see sides." So basically, just as God, who created us, doesn't see anything other than sameness, oneness, equality, there is no such thing as sides, really, except in dreams. And I know that everything happens for us because we have asked for it. We have asked for this. And I was in another class yesterday, one I teach at Maureen's, and the same kind of thing was going on. And you just have to remind people that the only reason we're here is that it's a classroom to learn lessons. And as Ken Wapnick said a long, long time ago when I first met him, he says, if you really want to do this course at a fast pace rather than a snail's pace, hang out where it's not that comfortable, where there's something, that triggers you. And that my card says, be grateful for your triggers because they reveal to you your mistaken beliefs. So this is an opportunity for everyone to enjoy their lessons. And if you don't think you have a lesson and you're upset or you're angry or whatever, just to recognize that you're doing this to yourself. That's the secret of salvation, is I am doing this to myself. You got to laugh. You simply got to laugh. That's it.
Okay. I'm going to read from lesson 312. I see all things as I would have them be. And Ken says in his commentary, oh, and good morning, Regis. I love your little avatars.
I know, that is so cute.
They're funny. And I wanted today when I got up, I said, what kind of day do I want to have? Okay, rules for decision. I said, I want a day of laughter.
Yay.
So seeing Regis's avatar makes me laugh. Since I judge all things as I would have them be, lesson 311, I see all things as I would have them be. Remember that projection makes perception. What I judge in my mind, I project, and that is what I perceive and make real. Paragraph 1, lines 1 to 2. Perception follows judgment. Having judged, we therefore see what we would look upon. And Ken says, the judgment of separation occurs in the mind, not the brain. Projecting it out in order to keep it, we judge the bodies around us, good or evil, victim or victimizer. We think we judge others, but we really judge a shadowy fragment projected from the thought of judgment within. Jesus helps us understand this dynamic and our need for it, which enables us to change our minds. So there we have it, right there. The world, I'm laughing at Regis's shifted in the background there. What kind of world do you want to live in? It looks like a little fairy princess little girl's room.
I know.
And so that's it. Projection makes perception. There is no external world. We're doing this to ourselves. We're dreaming, and we can have peace and say, okay, this is an interesting dream. Or we can freak out, get into fear, go crazy. Or we can say, you know what? The Holy Spirit has an answer for every stupid, idiotic, hateful thing that the ego made up. The Holy Spirit can use Donald Trump's presidency for the higher good of all. And what's our higher good? It's not a particular form. It is our change of mind. It's our peace. It's our love. It's our, seeing through the illusion. So I'm going to let the mic go. I know it's usually Sharon, Dove, and Meek primary, but anybody else who wants the mic, raise your hand, but I'll let it go back to Dove right now.
David.
You're going back to me? I spoke already.
Oh, you spoke already. Well, I just spoke too.
I don't know, Mickey, how about you? Share, Regis?
I want to hear what Regis has to say.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not there right now.
What I have found about Regis is when he speaks, and everyone listens. And when he doesn't want to speak, he doesn't speak, and everyone wants him to speak.
I think when the avatar is not moving, that means Regis is probably not behind it.
Right. Yeah.
I'll keep reading from the lesson.
Okay.
Paragraph 1, line 3. For sight can merely serve to offer us what we would have. And Ken says, we have read this many times before. The body's eyes do not see, but simply report what they have been instructed to seek and find. So if we say this to every person who is upset about Donald Trump being elected, if we say this to everyone, it's like, this is what you asked for. This is what you want to see. You want to see someone that you hate, because in the mind, there is still hatred and it's being projected outward, and not in a condemnatory way, but in a, let's take a look at our minds. Let's take a look at what we want to see. We want to see a world of fear. We want to see a world where we think we're going to lose everything that we've worked for or all of our rights. And then, someone could say, yeah, but women are already losing their rights. They're already losing their rights to abortion. Oh my God, is there going to be a national abortion ban? And that one scares me too. That one is like, whoa, I'm so glad that I'm not of childbearing years. And I think of, the young women coming up, and I have young women that I love and care about that I wouldn't want something to happen to. But who am I to say? Again, that's projecting a world of fear. And one of the ways that having grandkids has helped me is, you know what? Stop thinking that they're your grandchildren. It's like Khalil Gibran said, your children are not your children. They are the arrows from life's bow. And that's what I had to do with my daughter when we had a horrible custody battle, and there was no reason for it, but I lost custody when she was 6 years old. And that was really hard. And that line from Khalil Gibran, your children are not your children. They are the arrows slung from life's bow. And it's the same type of thing with any of our grandkids or our kids or whatever. It's like they have their own lives. They have their own perceptions. It's their choice too, but they're not even there either. We're not here. We're dreaming. We're all characters. And our only job is to extend love, to wake up, to be aware. So like with my grandkids, the biggest fears I have now are with my granddaughters. Like, oh, are they going to be okay? Are they going to get sick? Are they going to have problems? Or, and it's like, you know what? Stop. You're not helping anything by worrying about your grandkids. You know what? How was your life before those kids ever came into existence or seemed to come into existence? You're not this person who has grandkids. You're not an ego with a possession of a grandchild. And so again, what is it for? What is this election for? What is Donald Trump for? To wake up, to wake us up, to be the love that we are. Anybody else want to speak? Mickey, go ahead.
So I'm going to quote one of my favorite teachers, who is Liz Cronkite, and her favorite line, which is, everyone is playing their part in the atonement. Everyone. It doesn't matter who you are or what you're doing. If you're the most vicious person on earth, if you have nothing but hatred in your heart, there is some reason the atonement is using you. to heal one mind.
Yeah. That's so true, Mickey. And I didn't know that Liz Cronkite is one of your favorite teachers. Sharon can say the same thing. She loves Liz Cronkite. I don't know if you know that.
I love Liz. She's great.
She used to teach. She was here as a teacher, I guess back in 2010, 2011. Yeah.
Mhm. So yeah, we're friends now, and we talk about once a month. And um, she's got, I think, a great perspective on everything. She still gets involved in worldly things, but she has felt ego fall away almost completely at this point. And even though she sees things and reacts to them, it's like she says it's like a passing thought that just comes and goes and doesn't there's nothing to stick anymore. And that viewpoint that this is a script that's unfolding. We're all playing our parts. We all have our own parts to play for each other and for ourselves. And we just have to try, that I have a little game I play usually at night before I go to bed. I do what you're really not supposed to do, which is look at my phone. And I go into the FIP app, and you can put a word in the search bar and see how many times the word trust comes up. Should we do that right now?
You can.
I've done that. I've done that with that word, but I can't remember how many times it was. Give me 1 second here. TRT search. 136 results. So clearly that's something that we need to look at in the course and look at in ourselves and develop within ourselves. Can we trust that whatever is happening is for our own good? Dove's favorite couple of lines in lesson 135, what can you not accept? If you but knew that everything, past, present, and to come, was planned by one whose only purpose is your good. That I don't know what all this is, the result of everything is going to be, but I know that I have to trust that it's for my good. It's for the good of my awakening. Whether I'm celebrating this week or I'm in tears. Fortunately, I'm not in either of those positions. I feel pretty calm and neutral. And I would say I was a little disappointed in the result, but I didn't flip out. I didn't start sobbing like my friend did. I'm trusting that whatever is going on is for the good of the awakening. My personal good, the good of this personality I like that Robert Schwartz term, the cloak of personality that I've put on for this lifetime called Mickey. Might not be good for her, but I have to trust that everything that's happening is for the good of the atonement, for the good of the awakening, whatever is going on. Thanks.
Thanks for that, Mickey. And so the trust is used over 100 times. The word purpose, I believe, I didn't just look it up, but when I've looked it up before, it's used over 600 times. Purpose. What is it for? And what is anything in form for? It's for our awakening from the world that we think is out there. And good morning, Carrie. So again, when we look at what is this for, How does the Holy Spirit want me to see this? The Holy Spirit wants us to see everything as nothing, all form as nothing, and to come back to our true identity as love and as peace. And that's what happens when we accept that we're projecting this world and we can choose to see it differently. The result is peace. We can see it. We can see it. It has happened to us many times. And Tuesday night, I couldn't sleep. I took a little melatonin so I could get to sleep because I knew I was feeling the whole country's, totally on edge. And I couldn't sleep. And I thought the ego was saying, look at you, you're not in peace. You're feeling upset. And I'm like, well, you know what? I'm not going to be mean to this body. I'm just going to be kind to it and take some melatonin and sleep. And I had thought of keeping my phone on, which I turn off every night. Thought of keeping my phone on so I could check in the middle of the night what happened. And then I thought, you know what? If you do that, you're not going to sleep. So don't do that. You'll find out soon enough in the morning. And it's like, well, whatever. And so getting back to our lesson for today, I see all things as I would have them be. Ken continues to say, within the dream, we have the illusion of seeing. For our sensory organs perceive the mind's projected illusion of separation. They were made to preserve and protect. So what is politics for? What is it for? It's to preserve our thought system of separation. That's what politics is for. But can we use politics for the Holy Spirit's purpose, which is for unification, unified consciousness? Yes, we can. Paragraph 1, lines 4 to 6. It is impossible to overlook what we would see and fail to see what we have chosen to behold. How surely, therefore, must the real world come to greet the holy sight of anyone who takes the Holy Spirit's purpose, and there's that word purpose, as his goal for seeing. And he cannot fail to look upon what Christ would have him see and share Christ's love for what he looks upon. So what I would say also to everyone who's afraid of nuclear war, like my girlfriend, I was talking to her the other day, she's going, oh my God, if Trump's elected, we're all dead within 6 months. It's going to cause nuclear war. And I'm like, well, okay. I said, well, then if that's the case, then pray that you don't even see it coming. It just hits you. You're out of here. And then when you're out of the body, you'll go, hip, hip, hooray. We made it out. Laughter, because we're not stuck in these bodies anymore, right? We're not a prisoner of the world that we see. And there's Regis laughing. And so, and the other part is like what the Course promises is, I am in danger nowhere in the world. There is nothing to fear. And the review lesson of lesson 48, there is nothing to fear. The review is so beautiful. And I memorized it a long time ago. It says, there's nothing to fear. How safe the world will look to me when I can see it with vision, right? It will not look anything like what I imagine I see now. Everyone and everything will lean toward me to bless me. Okay, so everyone and everything, the political party you don't like, the presidential candidate you don't like, will lean toward me to bless me. I will recognize in everyone my dearest friend, capital F. What can there be to fear in a world that I have forgiven and that has forgiven me? And so when I first read that lesson a long time ago, it's like, and that has forgiven me. And my first thought was, what have I done wrong? Why do I need to be forgiven by the world? And what I didn't realize was, hey, you're projecting the world. The world forgives you for projecting a hateful, separated, terrible world. And that's what the world has forgiven me means. So let me read in the chat. Okay. Mickey, you wrote the purpose 676 results. Yeah, that's a lot. So the course is all about choice and purpose. What world do we want to see? Do we want vision? with Christ's vision where no form exists except as a projection from the mind? Or do we want to see with the body's eyes, which is, you know what? As long as form has been around, this has been a scary, terrible world. People will say it's worse than it's ever been. I'm like, I don't know. I remember Vietnam and all those guys coming home in body bags. This doesn't seem worse to me than that. You know, it's pretty bad. Regis, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to drop the body. I do. I've wanted to drop the body since I was 20. And I realized, wait a minute, there's something wrong with this world. But I don't believe in suicide. So okay. And Carrie says, I'm ready to go. And you know what's really interesting is that people who say they're ready to go, and I'm not saying this about you, Carrie, but I've seen people say they're ready to go, and then when it comes right down to it and they get cancer or have a stroke or whatever, they do everything they can to hang on to that body. And it's like, so we think we are, but I don't know. Does anybody else want to take the mic?
Yeah, I'll take it. I mean, yeah, it has everything to do with the body. Absolutely the body. If you identify with the body, there was a lot to fear. There's no two ways about it. Bodies can die. No one wants to die, exactly as Regis says. So that's why Jesus gives you 23 lessons out of 365, or 7% of the lessons say, I am not a body. I am free. I am still as God or love created me. Now, no one wants to really do that lesson and really hear what it's saying to you. I am not a body, but we do think that we're bodies, and because of that, exactly as Regis says, no one wants to drop the body. But if you're doing the Course in Miracles, you know, it's a radical course in that you don't look at the world the way that you used to look at it. And I like what you said. When you were 20 years old, you realized there was something wrong with this world.
I know.
Well, not only is there something wrong, there is no world. I mean, twice yesterday, it was just yesterday, twice yesterday in the morning before I even went to Maureen's class at 7:45, I heard within 5 minutes of each other, I heard Ken Wapnick say, the Holy Spirit doesn't look at the world or look to change anything in this world. That's not what the Holy Spirit does. And then 10 minutes later, I was sent, I forgot who it is that sent it to me. I forgot who, someone sent it to me. Oh, I think it was Hakeem. I think some of you know who Hakeem is. He was teaching here. Hakeem sent me a thing that said, Gary Renard says, that the Holy Spirit does not look to change anything in this world. This is not what Holy Spirit looks at. He only looks at us. He doesn't look at form. We're content, not form, as Ken Wapnick says almost every day. Never confuse form with content. We're not the body. We are the peace, love, light of God, period. So as long as you think you're a body, there's a lot to fear. There's no two ways about it. If I'm a body and I get cancer, I don't want to die. Yeah. But by the way, I was asked to do a podcast with Dakini Wild. Some of you may know her. She's from Australia. She's a prolific writer on Facebook. Almost everyone loves her stuff. I know I do. She wants to do a podcast. It was actually scheduled for yesterday, and she canceled the last minute for a family matter. But she wants to do a podcast on what I went through when I went through cancer. And I went through cancer very quickly, meaning that it was over in a couple of months. I did receive large doses of chemo, which I call large doses, but I'm not going to get into that part. And it was all over. And a lot of people go on fighting cancer for years and years and years. And you might say, oh, why was it all over in just a couple of months? Well, it was all over because I accepted it. Accepted it means I wasn't fighting it. Most people fight it. And how do you fight cancer? You're afraid. I don't want to die. I'm going to hold on to this body with dear life. I'm going to restrain myself. I'm going to constrict myself. I'm going to resist myself. I'm going to fight, fight, fight. Well, you know what happens when you fight, don't you? You don't win. Trying to put in a little political humor there. That's my thoughts. Anyone else want to share?
Well, I just want to say quickly that you guys have come such a long way from 4 years ago. I mean, 4 years ago, I still have not talked to Lisa Natoli and Regina Akers. We were very good friends, but over the election 4 years ago, and it was very, very difficult for me to come in a room where, oh, we're all one, atonement, blah, blah, blah. And then let a Donald Trump come along, boom, 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 boom. I got bombarded, and I got bombarded right out of the room. And I didn't come back for 2 years. And then, I love Sharon and Lynn. I mean, all of y'all, but I was really, really close to those girls, I felt. And to see what the reaction and the Gary Renards, the Marianne Williamsons, I threw all away their books. I don't even care if I never talked to them again. I did. And they didn't go and recycle. They went in the trash. So, that was 4 years ago. So anyway, all I know is now I'm at a place with you guys today, the meeting. Oh my gosh, I feel like we've all grown because, I'm not so lopsided anymore either. I just want peace. If you think that I feel good about this, I don't. I still feel like the collective consciousness is still a mess. There's so much in my mind. There's still a lot of trauma, but all I want to do is heal my mind. And I'm in tears that, this room today, the way y'all spoke and the way you've grown, and maybe let's say we've all grown. It just, thank you. I don't know what else to say. And I just want to keep evolving and keep remembering the truth of who I am and not be, what do you call, I'm being an empath too. Lorri, I was awake, and the collective consciousness really gets to me, but I just want to, let everybody be and just enjoy it. And the only way I can do it, you guys, and I never understood this, is to work on myself. Because the world is going to be who it is. People are going to be who they are. And David, I appreciate it yesterday. I guess it's the acceptance, because I was willing to accept whatever happened either, because I still feel like God is in control. And God, I felt that the universe was going to let whatever happen for our greater good, for all of us, for the learning of all of our lessons. So anyway, I just want to say I'm so grateful that I'm back in the room and that I am talking to especially Lynn and Sharon, who I didn't talk to for 2 years, because I just love them and I love all of y'all. And I'm just so glad that we had this time. Thank you.
Cher, that was beautiful. That was really beautiful. And, I had a similar thing with the pandemic when I did not agree with the way the world was handling the pandemic, and I felt ostracized, but I didn't stop coming or anything like that. But I can see where it's like, I don't need the separation. The way COVID helped me was to say, you know what? You guys have your opinions, I have my opinions, and okay, and I also got to the place where I felt like if I had to be vaccinated, that I would be protected from any negative effects of the COVID vaccine. But on the other hand, it really showed me the truth of, the mind's projection, because I do believe that the COVID vaccine ended the pandemic because people believe in vaccines. And so they believed it would end it, and it did. And I'm very grateful for the COVID vaccine, but I didn't want to be forced to take it. And so what I could see was that I could have my opinions, but even when I would rationally talk to people, if they were in fear, they could not hear what I was saying. The minute I said, I don't like this vaccine, I was called an anti-vaxxer. And I was judged, and everything that came out of my mouth after that was not listened to at all. And sadly, that's what happens. That's what's happened in our political thing. It doesn't matter. It's like everything Obama said, the Republicans hated it. Everything that Trump says, the Democrats hate. And so it's so sad if we can look at, say, you know what? It's a really good idea. Let's see how we can work together on that, which is, I think, what we used to do. I don't know, maybe we didn't do it, but it's really sad when fear shuts people down. And so I knew that I had to get out of the fear. And I will tell this funny story again. I've told it here before, but the way COVID helped me get out of my fear was I was in Mexico with Rod. And so that was one thing where I felt like the Holy Spirit's protection. It's like I was just plopped down in this resort in Mexico during the pandemic, and everything was paid for, and it was wonderful. And so it's like, thank you. The Holy Spirit will protect you, even if it's to death. That's okay. The body can drop. You will be protected. But anyway, when there was a brief shutdown down there. And so when it opened back up after 6 weeks, Rod and I were walking to our favorite restaurant that we were just so happy. And anyway, there's a main street, and you have to cross that street when you can because it's really busy. So Rod had crossed the street ahead of me, and we were going down. And after he crossed, down the road came two Mexican National Guard trucks. And they were these big, heavy duty pickup trucks, white. They had blue and red flashing lights. And in the front seat were two SWAT team type of guys with rifles. In the back seat were two SWAT team guys with rifles. And in the back of the truck, or maybe it was in the back of the truck, there were four. There were six. There were six SWAT team guys with rifles, rolling down the street on two different trucks, coming down the street. And I went, oh my God, they're coming to round people up. And I had gotten into this thing about, I am not having any chip put in my body, whether or not this vaccine had that. I don't believe that. But in the future, I was thinking, nope, I'm not having a chip put in my body, because the minute you have a chip, they've got you. So I was getting into all this fear about, oh, no, never. I will die before they put a chip in my body. And so I'm imagining this scenario with these SWAT team guys coming down. I'm going, oh, okay, I'm going to rush them. If this happens, I'm going to rush them, and I wasn't thinking it was going to happen right then, but this was like a future projection. I'm just going to rush them so they kill me, because that way I don't have to have a chip put in my body. I'm out of this body and I don't have to be here anymore. I'm just going to rush them. And so I'm going through this whole thing in my head. And then it passes and I get to the restaurant, and I said to Rod, he's sitting there, he had already got his coffee. And I said, so what did you think of those National Guard trucks rolling down the street? And he goes, what trucks? And it was like this boing, 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 boing neon sign going, what world do you want to see? Do you want to see Rod's world where he's just moseying along and then he's drinking his coffee? Or do you want to see your world of hatred and fear and attack and death? It was so profound that it shifted me, because it was like, this is on me. This is not on anyone else. I can see this world and be creeped out, or I can go, you know what? As long as I appear to be in a body, the Holy Spirit has a use for this body and this dream character. And as the Course says, we are safe. Because Rod got the vaccine. He got the vaccine because his daughter-in-law said, you can't see the grandkids unless you get the vaccine. Well, the mindset was so ridiculously fearful that the vaccine didn't even take effect for 2 weeks. But he got the vaccine on Thursday, and she let him see them on Friday. Now, go figure the rationality of that. No, it was just total fear. But he was like, you know what? Vaccine's not going to affect me. If it'll help me, or it will be neutralized. He had no fear about it whatsoever. He didn't have any bad effects. And that's how I figured, if I have to get it, it'll help me. It's not going to have any bad effects. And the other thing that really helped me through all this, because Lynn and I were totally Oh yeah, Lynn, I have a chip. It's in my phone. It knows where I am at all times. But that is different than being in your body, where they could program your actual physical body. So, so Lynn and I really disagreed a lot on the vaccine. And I love Lynn so much that it was like, you know what? I don't want division. Let's just agree to disagree. And I am grateful that you have the vaccine, and I'm grateful that I don't have to. So anyway, COVID really helped me. And Donald Trump helped me. This whole the division between the Republicans and the Democrats really helped me to get to this place of peace and love. So I'm going to let go of the mic. Anybody else want to talk?
Regis has his hand up. Regis, you have to unmute yourself if you're going to speak. Well, I'll wait for Regis. I'm just going to say, thank God. You know what? I just realized just over yesterday that we're up on our high horses, all of us, thinking that we all know what's going on and what's best, but we really don't know anything. And, for the time that I have been worried about things in American politics, I have not given a tiny crap about what's happened to people in Brazil, or what's happened to people in Argentina, or what's happened to people in Russia, or what's happened to people in the Ukraine. I mean, of course, I've cared about it, but not to the point where I was willing to give up my peace for it and think, oh, I need to do something. Well, what a hypocrite. I'm sorry. If it's not good for everybody, why do I want it? Anyway, I don't know, Regis, did you want to speak? Or anybody else? I'll just let go of the mic.
Great point, Lynn. And I don't see Regis's avatar moving, but when you come back, the hand, I didn't even see the hand, looked like the lampshade. Regis, you look like you're back.
All right. Yep. Yep. I knew you didn't see my hand. It was okay. You all can hear me okay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just putting in my little 2 cents. But it's interesting, as Lorri, one of the last things you were saying was that you see the world, that you see it as you were saying, Rod, and see the trucks that you saw rolling down the street. The only thing that I saw from Donald Trump was, I literally just saw one 6-second clip, and it said he came to the mic. I'm sure it probably wasn't the whole speech. I don't know what was in front of it. I don't know what was. It was definitely the end, because he walked off the stage. But he said, somebody came up to me and told me before this election that maybe God spared my life for a reason. And so, that I could come help and restore America. And he walked off the stage. That is literally all I saw. And I'm like, saying, I don't have anything to say about that. It's like, that's all. If he said any other disparaging or crazy, arrogant words, I didn't see him. I didn't hear him. I haven't saw him to this day. That's all I saw. And I thought it was funny because I was noticing, because my wife was right beside me, and she gave some kind of loud smirk, sarcastic smirk. And I'm like, in myself, I didn't even say it out loud to her. I'm like, I don't have a problem with what he just said at all. I don't see the problem with anything that just came out of his mouth. So it's kind of like, I thought about, like, in a football game, and we watch sports. I watch a lot of sports really because of my wife. Before her, I'd never voluntarily watch sports. And so we've been watching a lot of football over the years, and they can have a football game. I'm talking about the professionals, and they almost get into fights. They get so intense about winning. It gets high pressure. It's a nip and tug game. They start getting frustrated, every now and then they'll almost break out into a shoving little fight match. People have to run in and break them up. But when that game is over, everybody heads toward the center of the field. They hug, they shake hands. Whatever happened during that game
That's
is
true.
over now. We
Yeah.
accept the win, we accept the loss. And every time I see this, I tear up. It's just so beautiful to me, that it is, and it doesn't seem forced. It don't seem like, well, I better do this so I can look like I'm a good sport. But it really seems genuine. And, politics used to be that way. You only got two things going on:
Yes.
trickle down and bottom up. That's all I learned that in 11th grade, 10th grade, social studies in American history. Trickle down and bottom up. Some people want to work it from the bottom, some want to work it from the top. And everything else that's said during that campaign is just to get your vote. They don't even mean everything they say. And both parties use fear. The Republicans are aggressive fear, the Democrats are passive aggressive fear. And I just noticed what does it show you after it's over? If you have any extreme emotion, it's like, okay, I bought into it. Just like I bought into that football game. I was telling Dove and them yesterday, we wanted Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints to win a second Super Bowl ring so bad. And so many of us sports fans bought into it. We was hook, line, and sinker. This is going to be his chance to get the second Super Bowl for New Orleans. And in the playoff game, they had a real snoozer of a referee call it was really a bad call in terms of football. But they didn't reverse it. They didn't mess with it. They let it stand. And the minute that game was lost, I felt everything that I felt when Kamala Harris lost. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is a football game and this is a political election. Wait a minute, what's going on here? So, I mean, when the Saints lost that playoff game, I immediately lost my appetite. I felt weak and queasy inside. And it went on for several days over a football game. So you gotta laugh, if Dove say, you gotta realize, as Sharon was saying, it's about the work. What is this showing me about myself? Not about what's outside of me, but what is this showing me about myself? I bought into something. Now, I've always told my wife, I said, over my entire life, I can tell you with certainty, as far as my personal finance, Republican leadership has helped me more. I have not benefited ever from Democratic leadership in terms of my personal finance. But that's not how I always vote. That's not how I ever voted. Because there are other issues besides my personal finance that I buy into. But, you just think about that football game scenario, and they say everything that they can say to get you to pull that lever in their favor or to mark that ballot sheet in their favor. And that's really all it's about. Trump don't plan on doing all the crap that he was appealing. He appeals. He knows there's a niche. There's a Bible belt with certain beliefs, and there's a niche for fear-based people, and he come at it hard and strong because he want that vote, because by any means necessary, he wants to win the game. And the Democrats do it in a passive-aggressive way. Even in the Obama campaigns, I sent them an email back and told them, don't send me anything else that's fear-based. You don't have to scare me into voting for you, sir. It's like, just tell me your values. Tell me what you would like to do or try to do, and don't try to scare my vote out of me. And so I would email them back, and I would tell them, I don't need this popping up in my email account. Be afraid, be afraid, be afraid, be afraid. And so, it's like you hammer something in, you hammer it in. So after the results come in, you feel that fear, that shakiness, that disappointing upset. But you feel that also when you go buy a house and the deal falls through, or you go and you got the perfect job and this is a job you always wanted and they don't select you. So you have to like, hold up, am I taking my feelings and emotions too serious? What am I tied into? What am I wrapped into so tight that my body is having this reaction? And it's always just an opportunity to go within. No matter what the story is, it's just various stories, whether it's a football game, a political election, buying a house. I have a house, I'm living in a house, so why would I lose it because the deal falls through? You have to think about that stuff. And if you don't, then you're just taken away with the story and with all the stuff that the ego thought system wants to do to you. Thanks.
Thank you, Regis.
And our time is up. So I see Zulma in the room, and hi, Glorian. And I don't know if you wanted to say one last thing, Dove, but I'll say adios, thankful Thursday. I'm thankful for all of you.
Thank y'all. Mwah.
I want to thank everyone for being here. It was a wonderful session. Really very healing, by the way, very healing.
Yes, and that's what I think we're going to be seeing and hearing, is that healing. Honestly, I would not have had the shift that I had if Kamala Harris had won. If Kamala Harris had won, I would have been, God, fine, everything is good. The fact that she didn't said to me, oh my God, Lynn, what are you thinking of? Why are you connected to this world like this? Why are you worrying about politics? Why are you worrying about economy? Why are you worrying about women's rights? Why are you worrying about any of these things? That's not your business. That's not what I'm here for.
Very well said, Lynn. Thank you.
Very well said.
Thank y'all, and I'm saying y'all for share. Thank you guys, and I'm going